The episode begins with Iroha, who is quite sad. She thinks Aki is truly the worst. He never takes me seriously, and I feel like I should just give up on him, but I can't. I really like working, and he never understands my feelings. He treats me like a joke. She admits it's not entirely his fault, as she is always trying to be funny, which is probably why he doesn't take her seriously. She feels jealous and thinks that Mashiro might take Senpai away from her. She is very distressed and wonders what to do. Mashiro suddenly appears and asks, Iroha, is something wrong? Iroha gets flustered and says, no, nothing at all. Iroha then asks, what are you doing here? Mashiro says she is going to the library to return books. Iroha says, the books look really amazing. Iroha says she's trying some new types of books to feel refreshed. She then nervously mutters to herself, whatever you're thinking, it's not that. Iroha thinks, I'm sure she's trying to hide something. Mashiro then says, since I ran into you here, I think we should go home together. Iroha remembers she told Senpai to meet her on the way. Iroha says, I'm sorry, but I have some work. I have to go to my part-time job. She reveals that her job involves using her mouth. Hearing this, Mashiro is shocked and starts thinking of something scandalous. Iroha realizes Mashiro is thinking the wrong thing and says, if you want, you can try it too. Mashiro nervously says, no, I don't want to do all that. I have some work at home. She says goodbye and leaves. Iroha thinks Mashiro is quite lucky. I also need to do something to make Aki take me seriously. The scene shows Aki sitting in the park, looking quite troubled. Iroha arrives and asks, is something wrong with you? Aki says, no, I'm perfectly fine. Aki tries to leave, but he seems troubled, deep in thought. Aki then calls out, Iroha, listen to me. Iroha sweetly replies, yes, senpai, what is it? Aki is completely shocked by her tone. He asks, what happened to you? Why did you change? Your behavior, Iroha says. What did I do? I'm like this 365 days a year. Aki says, go back to your old behavior where you laugh like an animal and act like a fool. Iroha asks, since when have I been doing things like that? A long argument ensues over this. Aki wants Iroha to go back to her old self, but Iroha insists she has always been this way. She says, I'm a beautiful and cute girl who is trying to get close to you. What's your problem with that? Aki again asks, what happened to you? Can you tell me? Iroha says, nothing happened. I'm perfectly fine. She then says, we should go now or we'll be late. In the next scene, they are at Midori's office. Midori says, oh, you finally came. Aki says, I'm sorry. We're troubling you again. Midori says, okay, I understand. But did you bring my payment or not? Aki gives her a luxury cake. Aki narrates that when he asked Midori about payment, she said she does this for fun and won't accept money. However, he promised her that every time he works, he will bring her a nice luxury cake, and Midori agreed. Aki says Midori is quite demanding. Sometimes she wouldn't even let him work because she rejected the cake he brought. Midori says, this looks good. You can start your work. Now, Iroha asks, Senpai, did you bring the script or not? Iroha is about to do the voiceover. Midori says, Aki, you are doing a very wrong thing. Voiceover artists are usually given the script much earlier. Aki says, don't worry about her. Iroha is very talented. Midori says, yes, I know, because her mother is quite bad. 5 minutes pass, and Midori asks, why hasn't Iroha done anything yet? Aki thinks she is reading the script, and he is confident that Iroha will record the voice well because she is filled with talent. Midori tells Iroha, I think you should get ready now. Iroha says, yes, I'm ready. I'll try to give my best. She finally starts her voiceover, but Aki and Midori find it very weird. Midori interrupts, saying, the voice you're trying to make sounds less like a criminal and more like a young lady. Iroha says, oh, is that so? I didn't realize it. I'll try to fix it now. She does the voice of the next character, but that doesn't go well either. She does one character after another. Midori asks, what happened to her? Aki is extremely scared. He says, I'm sorry. Iroha's acting skills are amazing, but I don't know what happened to her all of a sudden. Midori asks Iroha, how do you feel about your acting? Iroha says, honestly, I feel very good. I'm trying to give my 100%. Aki then yells, you should stop acting foolish. Your acting is not good at all. I'm putting so much effort into you. I'm trying to improve your personality, and you're still making mistakes like this. He is about to say something very hurtful to Iroha, but Midori interrupts him. Midori says, I think we'll continue this tomorrow. Iroha, you should go home. Now, Iroha leaves without saying a single word. After she leaves, Aki thanks Midori a lot for helping him, or he would have said too much. He says he will return her candy later by a new one. Midori says, I feel like I indirectly kissed you. Aki sits down and says, honestly, I'm such a fool. I overdid it. Midori says, no, it's not your fault entirely. She says, I know how to play with people. I don't know much about love, but I don't understand what's going on in Iroha's mind. She warns him, if you try to spoil Iruja's talent, you will truly regret it later. Midori says, honestly, I love music a lot, but I couldn't become an artist. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't do it well. I don't have natural talent, so I decided to help people with the skills I have. I want to help many people, and I want to do the same with Iroha. She says she doesn't know much about Iroha's talent, but she feels she is truly amazing. She warns him again, don't try to crush her talent, or I'll make your life hell. Midori then talks about Mashiro, saying, she is quite cute, right? Aki says, I don't know about that. Midori says she heard that Mashiro hated him, but he still kept trying and eventually won her over to treat him nicely. She says, this shows how cute she is. Aki asks, how do you know all these things? Midori says she made a deal with her uncle. Midori suddenly hugs Aki and says, I think you are quite tense. Aki gets nervous. Midori says, you don't need to worry. No romantic feelings are going to bloom between us. She tells him to listen to her heartbeat. She says it's beating very fast. Even a cruel person like me can't control herself after getting this close to a boy. She gives him some more advice, saying that after all these events, the body reacts on its own like an animal. Aki concludes, so you're saying my mind is very confused about Iroha and Mashiro, and your point is absolutely correct? I can't choose between the two, and I'm trying to balance between them. Aki thanks her and apologizes for everything that happened. Midori says, you don't need to apologize. Just bring a treat next time. Aki says, you don't need to worry. Mashiro then texts him saying, I need to tell you something. So why don't we go out for dinner today? The next scene shows them both in nice clothes. Aki is laughing, and Mashiro asks, why are you laughing? Aki says, because you're very nervous. Mashiro says, what's there to laugh about? Of course I'm nervous. Mashiro says, it will be quite awkward if we are dating here, and I asked for money from my dad for payment. Aki thinks about what Mashiro's dad would say. He gets very nervous. Aki says, you don't need to worry about the payment. He talks about his game, which allows him to give money to everyone. He says he can help her too. Mashiro says, but I'm not a part of your game. Aki says, you shouldn't think about all these things. You should only enjoy today. Mashiro says, I don't drink. Aki says, don't worry. It's not a drink. It's just juice. They both drink the juice and enjoy it. Mashiro says, I think this is a couple restaurant. Aki says, yes, you're right. It is. He asks, don't you like these kinds of restaurants? Mashiro says, I like it a lot. This is the first time I'm coming to a restaurant like this, that too, as a couple. Aki thinks about the things she thinks in her mind. They talk about other couples there and how happily they are laughing. Mashiro says, I didn't understand anything about love until I fell in love myself. Aki is quite shocked. A little later, Mashiro says, the place is very good and I liked coming here. Mashiro remembers them enjoying dinner together. Both are quiet now. Aki says, I need to talk to you about something. He says, this is the right time. I should give you the answer to your proposal. Mashiro says, no, you don't need to say all that. Aki says, no, I have to tell you. I can't hide things inside me anymore. Mashiro says, honestly, I know your answer very well. She asks, you're going to reject me, right? Aki asks, how did you know about this? Mashiro says, you wanted to show me this beautiful place so you could end everything here. She says, when you messaged me, I understood all of this. Aki says, it's not like that at all. He explains, I can't make you my fake girlfriend. I need to focus on my game, and I don't want to keep you in the dark. Mashiro says, you don't know how much I love you. That's why you think you can easily fool me, but I'm not that big of a fool. You are doing all this because you are truly very kind. No matter how much you try to deny it, I won't change this belief. She says, yes, I know Iroha is quite cute, but she is not your girlfriend, and she is so cute, but you still haven't gotten close to her. So how can I think that I'll come back into your life after all this time and you'll get close to me? Honestly, I'm quite a fool. I know the game is very important to you. Why would you want to waste your time on someone like me? Honestly, I want to move on too, but I can't forget you, which is why I told you all those things. I thought I would change with time, but nothing happened. She continues, and I have one more thing to tell you. I have finally taken one more step forward, and honestly, I don't need to know your answer anymore. I don't know how much time I'll have to wait, but I'm ready to wait for any amount of time. I'm sure that one day you will definitely come to me. Aki says, honestly, I'm getting more and more confused at this time. My feelings are getting mixed up. Mashiro says, you don't need to do all that. You should only focus on your goal. You shouldn't get distracted. My goal is not to get a boyfriend. My goal is to make you my boyfriend. Aki says, I don't know how much time I'll spend on the game, so I don't think you should wait for me anymore. Mashiro says, you don't need to worry about me. You don't know this, but as long as you are connected to the game, I will be very close to you. You don't need to worry. I will wait for you. Mashiro says, okay, Aki, I should go home now. I feel quite awkward, and we'll meet tomorrow. She leaves. Aki takes out his phone and sees Iroha's profile. He says, I'm sorry, Iroha, but I think it's your turn now. The episode ends here.